The GXT 764 is the first CPU cooler to be launched by the well-known peripheral company Trust Gaming. It uses a single 120mm fan paired with a small 120mm radiator, this being in a push configuration from the factory. The included 120mm fan has a speed range between 400 and 1300 RPM and features no more than 33 LEDs integrated into the frame, and all of them are red. Yes, there are no RGB functionalities to be seen. It also has rubber pads on the corners of the frame to dampen the vibrations and can be controlled by your motherboard. The main feature of this cooler is, however, the CPU block, with a design and stylistic element that is in some areas better than some high-end liquid coolers. The pump PCB is semi-exposed through a smoked plastic case that covers the entire top part of the block assembly. The base of the cooler is made out of copper and is mounted to the pump assembly with the help of 8 aluminum screws. The overall surface of the copper base plate is smooth but not perfectly finished. The 2 rubber tubes that are used in the cooling loop are connected using plastic fittings for both the water block and radiator. These are not removable and only the CPU side fittings are able to rotate, albeit only in a small amount. Going back to the included fan, if the speed is lowered through the voltage control of the motherboard, all LEDs will start to slightly pulsate in intensity. This is most likely due to the power connector being linked to both the rotor hub of the fan and LEDs present. But enough with the aesthetics of the cooler and let's talk performance. Using this cooler with the fan at the maximum speed allowed and cooling an overclocked Skylake i5, this small liquid cooler was able to reach a temperature of 80 degrees Celsius, which is not that great, but keep in mind this was done with an ambiental temperature of 26 degrees Celsius. And when we talk about silence and pump noise, the small 120mm fan will generate up to 40 decibels in terms of noise, while the pump is silent with no rattlings or whining. All this considered, the conclusion for the Trust GXT 764 can only be that this is a small liquid cooling system with a cooling performance that is what we can expect from a single 120mm fan with average static pressure. This cooling system could be also improved by adding a second fan in a push-pull configuration, and to be completely honest, at this price point I would have expected to see those 2 fans included. This brings me to the downside of this cooler. The price at the moment of this review is more than 80 euros, exactly on the same level as the Noctua NH-D15 and other high-end or water cooling options. But the question is if this cooler is worth having, and the answer is yes, depending on the price. This cooler does its job. The pump is very silent and the build quality is good. However, the fan lacks static pressure and the price is too high for the performance offered. So if you can get this cooler for a good price, then it's not a bad cooling option.